right. Hey, Javier.
What's up, my brother?
How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing amazing, man.
Good. Welcome into the downtown office. Is this the first time you've seen?
Dude, this is my first time I've been down here, man.
Okay, well, we got to get you the full tour. This is just half. Just my little...
Yeah, like I said, my buddy had a office across the way, and so I'm familiar with the layout. But, man, I tell you, man, you guys killed it, man, with the view. You got the what was it, 180 views?
Yeah, yep.
180, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. Not a bad view, you know?
Dude, you guys have upgraded, man.
Yeah.
Does that mean you guys are making money or what?
We're doing good.
Love
We're doing
it, bro.
good. We keep it consistent. I think that it's all about mindset.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons I really want to talk to you, because you have such a solid, consistent, dialed-in mindset.
Yep.
You know, that's just one of the great things to like talk about. That's what we're doing. Like during like this market, people can say, "Oh, it's slow. We need the Fed to do this," but it's like you can't count on the government to pay your bills.
Yep.
You know, we just got to get to work.
Yep.
You know, and just focus in on what you do. Be hyper, knowledgeable about it. But tell us a little bit about you. I know you're always out there, like, on podcasts and everything.
Yeah, man. So real quick snippet for you guys, you viewers, so you guys can understand a little bit about me and my background. So I've been in the real estate industry since 2015. I started out as a licensee, right?
Okay.
As a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And once I got my real estate license, I was practicing for about 2 years. And when I started my second year practicing, I quickly realized, I was like, man, I'm selling real estate.
Yeah.
I'm making checks. But you ever had that feeling of like, you're only as good as your next sale?
Yes.
Like you kind of like, I'm not getting paid unless I close something.
Yep.
And I know you're in the LO world, and sometimes you guys are W-2 partial and then also commission based. But for us realtors, the challenge is you only get paid if you sell a piece of real estate.
Yep.
And then I can sell a bunch of pieces of real estate in a calendar year, but then I got to do that all over again the following year.
Yeah.
So I saw a real big pitfall in the business. And this is the business mentality that I have. I saw a real big pitfall. I was like, okay, well, I can make good money. I said, there's a lot of opportunity. I kind of can learn the ropes.
Yeah.
But I told myself, I was like, I want to solve a problem. And the problem I wanted to solve was only being as good as my next sale.
Okay.
So the guy who got me into being in real estate was Andres Ospina. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, he's
great
fantastic
guy. He got me into real estate. And in my second year, calendar year of being a realtor, he was buying fix and flips.
Okay.
So I remember one time he invited me over to one of his fix and flips. And I said, okay, cool. I'm going to check this out. So I went there, checked it out. It's kind of showing me the ropes, like, oh, we're remodeling this bathroom, we're doing this, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Now, the whole fix and flip model to me wasn't really appealing because, again, what problem was I trying to solve? I was trying to solve the transactional problem.
Yep.
So I knew that he was going to fix this, flip it, get paid a big paycheck at the end of the day, only to turn around to have to give Uncle Sam another 20% of that money. Oof. And again, what did I talk about? It's a transactional business, right? Fixing and flipping is a transactional business.
Yeah.
You get paid one time. That's when you fix it, flip it, and then you move on to the next project.
Yep.
So I was like, man, that business model's not that appealing to me. So then about a year after that fix and flip he showed me, he bought a buy and hold deal, right?
Yeah.
He bought a property, he converted the garage, and he was actually living on one side of the property, house hacking it.
Okay.
And the portion that he converted, which was an Airbnb he converted, I remember I went over there one time. He's like, bro, he pulled the app out. He showed me his phone. He's like, dude, look all this money I'm making. I'm like, bro, you're making that amount? You're making $2K on a garage conversion? So I looked at him. I was like, bro, how much did you spend to convert the garage? At the time, this is about 7-8 years ago. At the time, he spent about $55,000 to convert a 200 roughly square foot garage, right?
Okay.
I was like, wait, you spent 50 and you're making 2K a month? I said, so you just force appreciated his property because he permitted the whole entire process.
Yep.
Because now he's got heated square footage he can add to the sale if he ever sells it. He force appreciated his property. He's making cash flow. He's eventually planning to move out of the property to get depreciation. So once I saw that business model, I was like, okay, well, how do I replicate that?
Yep.
How do I replicate that? So I was like, okay, well, I'm a realtor. I'm not going to stop my realtor business because It's bringing me checks every single month. Okay.
Yep.
But I knew one thing that I was super crystal clear on. I knew that I wanted to marry my money and not date my money. And so that's the analogy I tell people. I say,
it's a good one.
Everything that I do is marrying my money, not dating my money. So I was like, okay, I like what he's doing from a buy and hold perspective, because I can have money coming in every single month, week over week, day over day, year over year. And I can capture all these other benefits of owning real estate. The depreciation, the appreciation, the leverage, cost segregation. I can do a lot of things to that one piece of real estate to manipulate it. So fast forward about that 2.5 year mark when I was in the, being in the realtor space, I remember I was so excited year one. I was like, dude, I'm going to try to go get a bank loan and buy a piece of real estate.
Yeah.
And I got turned down because I was a 1099 employee.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, correct.
That's what they would say.
You guys wanted to turn me down. You guys didn't want to trust me. You guys said, hey, Javier, we don't trust you.
The retail lenders, us mortgage brokers got a solution for that now.
Exactly. So they didn't have any trust in me. And so I was like, well, I have to wait 2 years to get my taxes in order for me to 2 years of filing. I said, shit.
That's a long time to wait.
So it's okay. I said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I said, you guys want to play the game? I'll play the game. Let's play ball. First year, file my taxes. Second year, file my taxes. I was excited.
Yeah.
Here comes around that 2.5 year mark. I'm in being a realtor. I'm excited. I got momentum. I'm selling about 10, 15 homes a year.
That's good.
And that 2.5 year mark came, went back over to that lender.
Yeah.
Hey, can I get a loan?
Yeah.
Finally approved me.
Yay.
Got approved at the time for, I think it was like $375,000, $400,000, FHA 3.5% down.
Okay.
My first deal that I ever bought, and this is where I had the light bulb moment, was just south of here downtown, right? I can almost point it at from here. I'm not even kidding you.
See the house from here?
Almost. No, I'm not kidding you. It's a duplex, right? And it was an FHA deal. I moved in one side and I house hacked the other. And I did exactly what my friend was doing that I just spoke about, which is Andreas. I house hacked one side and the other side I Airbnb'd it. And then the side that I lived on, because both of them were 2-bedroom, 1 bath on each side, the side that I lived on, I was actually renting a bedroom out because the bedroom, I didn't need that extra space. I was like, okay, I'm going to live in 1 bedroom. I'm going to rent out a bedroom. That was bringing me $700 a month. And then the other side of the duplex, I actually was renting on an Airbnb. That was bringing me about $1,500 to $2,000 a month at the time, right? So I was like, okay, cool. This is awesome. I'm excited, right? Fast forward about a year later. And by the way, that duplex that I bought, it was on the market for about 4 or 5 days. I couldn't believe it because this is kind of the time where the market was hot, but it wasn't like crazy fire hose hot where it's just like 900 offers per property. It was like you might get 1, you might get 2, right? And I remember seeing this property as a corner lot. One side was super distressed, hoarder tenant that I had in it. That was in there. He was actually moving out prior to closing. And the side that I lived on was actually in decent shape. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Trent. I was like, dude, there's no way this thing's passing FHA. But honestly, I had the vision. I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to see if this thing actually passes FHA. I'm hoping and praying that it passes. Bro, I'm not even kidding you. One of the side had a hole in the roof. And the appraiser, he passed it because one side was livable.
Okay.
One side was like a hoarder, roaches, needed full rehab, hole in the roof. Like I'm just like, I want to buy it because I saw the vision, right? So anyways, I finally closed on it, passed appraisal, bought it for $275, right? Fast forward about a year and a half later, finally got a rehab, looking pretty, painted the outside, did all the interior finishes on the one unit. The one unit that I moved into personally, I did like minor stuff, some like, some paint on the walls. I did some light fixtures, just some minor stuff. So then what happened was, this is where really the light bulb moment went off for me. I look at myself after I rehabbed that, put it on Airbnb. I'm living on the other side. Then I'm renting out the bedroom on the side that I'm living on, which is the 2-1. I said, hold on. I'm living for free. I'm making cash flow. I was like, this is amazing. Like, to me, I felt like I was just like Jeff Bezos. Like I'm making a lot of money, right? So then 2 years after I bought the home, the market started going bananas. Climbing, vertical. It started getting vertical. It was going like this to like this. And I'm like,
through the roof?
Through the roof. So then when I bought the property, I bought it at like a 3% interest rate at FHA. Then about 2 years after I bought it, roughly, I went and did a cash out refinance at a 4 and a quarter or 4. I think it was a 4% on an investment product. Free money.
That absolutely
free money. So then what I did was I pulled out my initial investment back plus some. So my cash out after closing cost, after all the miscellaneous fees and said and done was I was able to pull $90K. Which was my initial investment back plus some. My initial investment on the property, because remember, I'm a realtor. I get paid to buy property, so I got a commission. Okay. I got the seller to pay my closing cost. I put about $40K in rehab. And then I got about another $45,000 to $50,000 back when I did that cash out refinance because I pulled 90 up, right? So I got all my money back and some. Trent, I don't know if you've ever done one of these before, but it's such a powerful play. If you can get cheap money. And at the time, money was super cheap with banks. So going the traditional route to me was perfectly fine. So fast forward again, year over year, I kept trying to repeat this and replicate this process. Buying properties at the right price, buying right, refinance. I did about 4 refinances, did the same method over and over and over again. But then I got to a point where I was like, shit. Started looking at my portfolio. I thought I was like big baller. I got 4 or 5 houses. I'm making all this money. I got my realtor business. I got my Airbnb business. I'm making cash flow there. I'm excited. But then I told myself, I was like, dude, there's gotta be a much better way to scale without having to use banks. So I go online. I start doing research. I start seeing words like, and this was foreign to me at the time, seller finance. The hell seller finance?
They can do that?
Yeah. I'm like, wait, hold on. I can actually buy a property without having to get a bank involved. I was like, okay, tell me more. Start doing more research. Then, as you know, everyone's selling courses these days, right?
Buy my course.
Correct. People are monetizing their knowledge. Okay, I don't blame them. I've been in the high ticket sales, right? And I stumble across specific name, Pace Morby, and then he's selling a course. Looked it up, I hit one of the sales reps almost instantly. They didn't have to sell me on anything. I saw his YouTube. I saw that he had a lot of authority online, right? So I didn't need to have a salesperson sell me. Called the sales guy up. I said, look, I'm going to be your easiest sale. I swear to God, I said just like that. I said, sign me up. Okay, $10,000. No problem. Gave him my card. Actually, I don't even think I put it on a credit card. I think I paid just on a debit card. Paid on my card. When I got into the mentorship, this is actually my first big purchase on a mentorship. And a lot of people are afraid to invest in themselves in mentorships. A lot of people are afraid to hire a coach.
Yeah, they really are.
And if you look at anybody who's doing anything at a high level, they have some type of role model. They have some type of coach. They have some person keeping them accountable. And this is my first purchase into an actual mentorship was 10 grand. And at the time I thought 10 grand was a lot of money. So I was like, fuck it, man. I'm going to spend the 10 grand to learn what I don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
You certainly.
So I spend that 10 grand, Trent. I've made multi-millions from just one $10,000 investment. And the reason why is because not only did it actually, I never thought this would happen. It fulfilled my realtor business. In that mentorship, right now we have about 16,000 students.
Okay.
In the Florida market, I'm known as one of the go-to leaders for anybody who needs listing sales done for the property. Yeah. I never knew that I was going to supplement that business. So I'm getting 20, 30% of my closed deals out of that mentorship. But it's funny because I wasn't even expecting that.
Right. It was about
what I was expecting was like, how do I learn how to do seller finance deal? Mm-hmm. How do I negotiate them? How do I find them? What's sub 2? How do I find sub 2 deals? Mm-hmm. So for somebody who's watching this, just so you have a little bit more context, a seller finance deal is typically someone who owns a property free and clear. They don't own any money to the bank. Mm-hmm. I'm able to go and negotiate with that individual for terms and conditions that meet both parties' needs. Mm-hmm. So when I contact these individuals, I need to understand what their pain points are. Why are they selling? Mm-hmm. You know, are they looking for a lot of money up front? Are they looking for a little bit of money up front? Kind of test the waters with those individuals. Yeah. And that's your, quick snippet of a seller finance deal. My very first seller finance deal that I ever did, got with the seller on the property free and clear. I was actually, and this is a unicorn deal. I'm gonna be very clear on this because I know when I say this, you guys are like, what? Yeah. This is very, very rare. This is a needle in the haystack. And I was just lucky at the time. My very first deal that I negotiated as a seller finance, I actually negotiated at 0% interest rate.
Nice.
0% interest rate. Yeah. What I did was I gave them a higher purchase price. I pretty much built the interest into the purchase price. Mm-hmm. And I secured that deal and I actually didn't even close on it. So what I did was the seller, let's say is Trent. I locked up the deal, got it under contract. I didn't want to buy the deal because it wasn't within my buying criteria. Yeah. But I didn't want to do all that work for nothing. Obviously, it was great practice for me. Mm-hmm. So I went ahead and locked it up and I resold the contract, my equitable interest in the deal. I sold it for a fee, which was $15,000 at the time. Okay. So I go through this whole entire course of learning seller finance. Then I learn subject to, which is subject to. There's 2 reasons why a seller would sell subject to. They're either in some type of financial pain, mm-hmm. meaning that they're in arrears on their property, or they have very, very low equity and they can't sell the property on the open market with an agent.
It's because they take a loss, the fees be
Correct.
Too much.
So typical national average, you're looking at anywhere between 8 to 12% to sell your home with a realtor. Mm-hmm. By the time you pay realtor commissions, closing costs, concessions to the buyer, all the miscellaneous title fees and stuff like that, by the time you pay all those fees, you're going to pay anywhere between 8 to 12%. So for that seller to take that loss, a lot of them can't take that because a lot of times that loss is 20, 30, 40K. And you're talking to somebody who owns a $300,000-$400,000 home. That's a lot of money to them.
Yeah.
So realistically, that agent can't really solve their problem. Mm-mm. Number one. And number 2, that seller can't aggressively list their price aggressive enough on the market for it to be able to sell. So what ends up happening is the agent locks up the deal under a listing and agreement. Yeah. They put a sign in the yard. They hope and pray and make false promises to that seller. Instead of being truthful and just saying, hey, unfortunately, I can't take on this deal because we can't price it aggressively enough on the market, especially in today's market. We're in 2025. All you sellers who watch this, all you realtors who watch this, if you don't price the property aggressively enough, you're not going to sell, period.
No, it won't go anywhere.
Period.
It'll sit.
I don't care what type of mailers you do. I don't care what open house you do. You're just not going to sell the damn home.
Right.
Like price plays a big factor.
Oh, yeah.
A big factor. I would say it's one of the biggest driving factors when you're selling your home.
100%.
So you have a lot of those sellers either in financial pain and arrears in their property. Mm-hmm. So by the way, guys, right now foreclosures are going up.
Yep.
I'm starting to see more short sales. I'm starting to see more foreclosures. Mm-hmm. They're going up. So think about the amount of people on a monthly basis nationwide who don't pay their mortgage, who default. Those people need help.
Yes.
They're in financial pain. If they don't sell their property to somebody like myself via subject to, meaning where I take over the monthly payments of that property, then the bank is going to win. They're going to foreclose on it.
Yeah, they'll take it back and then it just really messes things up.
They're going to put it on their balance sheet. They're going to auction it off. That's it. Call it the day. The bank doesn't want to own the property.
No.
They're just going to auction it off, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to take the loss. So the best thing here is to create a win-win. So you're Mr. Seller, you're in arrears. Mm-hmm. I can come in and take over that monthly payment of $2,500 and catch up his arrears and reinstate his mortgage. Maybe he's 30, 40K back or in arrears. I can now reinstate that mortgage, take over that property via subject to.
Yeah.
So this was a whole nother strategy. And the reason why I actually got into that mentorship, so I was able to have tools in my tool belt that most other people don't have.
Yeah.
And so here's the reality. Most people right now in this market are struggling because they don't have the right tools in their tool belt.
Right.
They don't have the right skill set. And if you don't have the right tools in your tool belt or skill set, you're just not going to succeed. Or what I call these people is a one-trick pony.
Right.
If you're just a one-trick pony, you're not going to succeed.
No.
So I always told myself, how do I get in these creative deals? And that's why I got into the $10,000 mentorship. And so ever since I've gotten into that trend, bro, the game has changed. I rarely look at banks at all.
Yeah.
Because I know from a scalability standpoint, I can buy commercial, I can buy residential, I can buy a car, I can buy a boat, I can buy a plane, I can buy anything in this world creatively without using a bank at all. And people don't realize that because we're all tricked in our minds to think the mainstream way. We're all think the mainstream way. Oh, you want to buy a house? You go to a realtor. You want to go watch a movie? You go to the movie theater. You want to buy a car? You go to the dealership.
Yeah.
Right? It's very mainstream way of thinking. And people don't know how to think outside the box. So if you can get actually creative, then you can actually make a lot more power plays. When I got my first deal in the commercial space, it was so powerful to me to know that I put the same time, energy, and effort into a big $2.5 million RV park that I did a single family home.
Wow.
So now let's talk about where's my highest and best use of my time.
Yeah.
You know, like I can force appreciate something because I buy value add. I can force appreciate something, meaning I buy something that's either distressed doesn't have the right tech in it, it is run down. Maybe there's a value add component where we can add more pads, more amenities, maybe a bathhouse. We can do a lot of manipulation to that park to add value into it and force appreciate the value.
That's smart.
And get what? We get the top line revenue up, and then guess what? We reduce our expenses, and when we reduce our expenses, we have more what? It's called NOI, net operating income. If we have more NOI, that means that asset is evaluated at a higher number.
Yeah.
So me as an investor, I get rewarded for making the asset perform very well and doing the right things to it to force appreciate it.
Yeah.
So to me, when I got in the commercial space, it was like a no-brainer. I was like, well, single family, yeah, you can force appreciate, but you're not really getting an NOI evaluation.
Right, but it's not like a certain extent. Like you're not going to always get more out of it.
It's not, you can force appreciate a residential piece of real estate, but you're not going to get it based on the NOI. It's not, it's going to be so here's what I tell people. Buying residential real estate is evaluated based on a comparable approach. My neighbor down the road sold his house for $1 million on 123 Main Street.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Now my property is subject to be evaluated $1 million. But in the commercial world, the more efficient I can make that NOI, the more that property's worth. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
So
much higher level of appreciation.
And not only that, the reward for me, because I do have assets that I do get the NOI looking very sexy in the residential space, but my property is still subject to being comped out on a comparable approach. The evaluation isn't based on the income approach.
Right. Which makes more sense for the business purpose to go on income.
Right, because, and here's the thing, when you're buying these commercial assets, not only are you buying real estate, but you're also buying a business. There's a big business aspect into it. See what I'm saying? Yep. So that's why I launched into that. So that's cool. That's a lot about me, right?
Yeah, no, it's good. I think some of the key things is like, investing in yourself, like doing the mentorship program.
Yep.
Do you feel like you would have ended the same result if you didn't do the mentorship program?
100% no. 100% no, because the reality is I look at it like this. You go to Disney World, right?
Yeah.
You have two lines. You have the people who stand in line for 3, 4, 5 hours.
Right.
And sometimes they don't even make it to the front. Right? The ride might get shut down. They never get the result that they're looking for, right? Or you got the people who pay for the express pass.
Yeah.
They 100% get the result in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I knew if I was going to make that investment, I was making an investment to get the result quickest as possible without all the guesswork.
Yeah. I love that analogy because basically what you're doing is you know that the ride is going to be the same, right? They don't change it based on like when you get there.
Nope.
And it doesn't feel better when you take longer to get there. So just get the fast pass.
Get the fast pass.
That's what my that's the same mentality. Like, because we were just at Disney, my wife and I, and we were like, let's get the fast pass. Like, I don't want to stand in this.
Yeah. So that's the way I look at everything in life. Is like, anytime I want to do something new, whether it's get a 6-pack, whether it's buy a different asset class, whether anything that I want to do, I say, who's doing it at the highest level?
Okay.
How do I learn from them?
Yeah. Get their class.
It's called collaboration. I tell people this all the time. I say, look, if you're in business and you're not it's a contact sport. If you don't have contact with people, you're just not going to have a result.
You're not going to get anywhere.
And it doesn't matter what business is. It could be lending. You could be selling any type of product or service.
Yeah.
And if you're not making contact with people and collaborating with other individuals,
what are you doing?
You're just not going to have the result.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not known. Nobody has an idea. Yeah. How, I know you said like, obviously it's good to get like a class. Like, what do you think people should start to look at to get into this, to start to build wealth through these things?
Well,
how do they know they're ready?
How do they know they're ready?
Yeah.
I would say, well, first of all, most people watching this are typically at their 9-to-5 jobs. They're very frustrated because they're either not in the spot they thought they would be in their company. They're not getting paid what they thought they would be, or maybe the culture is not there. Okay. And really the main factors for a good company are good culture.
Yes.
If you don't have good culture, it's not really about the pay. If you don't have good culture, people aren't wanting to stay at that company. So a lot of times people don't have the right environment in that company, and they start looking outside of that and they say, how do I get in real estate? Because obviously real estate is a proven product that makes people wealthy and or rich, depending on which route you take. Now, everyone has a different mindset. Everyone has a different goal. But I would say this, if you're watching this and maybe you are a 9-to-5er, maybe you are happy at your 9-to-5 job, that's totally fine. But maybe you want to dabble in real estate. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's you, then a lot of times it could be as simple as partnering with someone like a Javier. And maybe you don't need to go through the whole entire mentorship. So I'll make an example. I have a lot of people who give me capital to invest in the deals.
Yeah.
They don't have the skill set. They don't have the know-how. They don't have the time. They don't have the energy. That's where I come in and I solve that problem. They're like, hey, Javier, you already know what you're doing.
Right.
Why don't I just give you, instead of me leaving my 9-to-5, which I'm pretty happy with, I'm happy here, I see growth. Instead of me leaving here, why don't I just give you the capital? You invest it. I become an equity partner in what you're doing. I don't want to learn what you're doing, Javier. I don't want your headaches, Javier. So that's one way.
Right.
A second way is, I would say, still get into the mentorship. So this is another type of 9-to-5er. So you need to identify who you are. This is another type of 9-to-5er who's like, you know what? I am sick and tired of my company. I want to leave. There's no growth here for me. This is it. I want to go work for myself. I want to be a real estate investor just like Javier.
Yeah.
Right? Really what I say to that individual is, depending on your current situation in life, if you have a family and kids, obviously you can't take as much risk.
Right.
But if you're single and you're watching this, you could take all the risk you want. You don't have mouths to feed but yourself. So you can dive right in and go full force. Now, what I really tell people is the challenge is you have no income coming in. And if you have no income coming in, you start thinking funny ways. Let's be real.
You do.
You start getting stressed. You start getting salesman breath. You start thinking ways that you never thinking before, because you can't buy food, or you're buying cheaper food, or you can't get gas in your car, or it's just a lot of variables.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, before you leave that 9-to-5, try to get some income coming in that's at least 30 to 50% of what you're making at your other job, your 9-to-5. That way you have some type of income coming in that you can live in. And that could be a lot easier for a single individual to do than somebody who's got a family. Now, if you have a family, your operating expenses are a lot higher.
Yep.
Okay. So what I would say is, if you're watching this, for your viewers, is the real best thing to do is analyze where you're at in life and figure out how much risk tolerance you can take. And if you could take a high risk, then jump right in. Try to, continue to work your 9 to 5, but jump right in. Work your 9 to 5. So work maybe your 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9 every single day. You put in the work to learn real estate. You keep doing that for 6 to 12 months, 6 to 12 months, 6 to 12 months, whatever, right? And then once you have some momentum built, then you can say, you know what? Screw you, 9 to 5. Then you leave. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that way you're not jumping in and you're like super fearful and like, you know what I mean?
Right.
You go from 9 to 5. And if you have, like, these days, most companies I see, people have a lot of flexibility in their schedules.
Oh, yeah.
And or they have a lot of time freedom.
Yeah.
Like, I got a couple friends of mine that work 9 to 5s, but they're really working like 3-4 hours a day, if that.
Yep.
So they have a lot of time freedom. So if you're watching this and you're in that position, you need to capitalize on that time freedom that you have and allocate it toward what you want to learn. And it doesn't have to be real estate, by the way. It could be business acquisitions. It could be you want to be the next pro golfer. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
But start allocating that time that you have toward learning something new.
Or otherwise you stay stuck. And I think that's the main thing, that like this whole entrepreneurship and taking the risks, but a calculated risk, isn't really taught in schools. And that's the real way to, well, I know you said it's easier, and I completely agree. It's way easier for a single person. But, my wife and I, we sit down, we look at things, and we're like, all right, we need to build wealth, because the risk is, staying just similar to like how you were,
right?
Like, real estate starting out, staying transactional.
Yeah.
Got to keep the flow up constantly.
100%.
But it's like, all right, now we're looking at things different. Like, yeah, the risk of not doing something to create wealth and cash flow is higher. Like, I'd rather take and be like, all right, well, we're going to pare back expenses. We're going to build up, cash on the side and then invest that, deploy it. Because otherwise, like, the risk of being stuck and not having freedom of time, not having freedom of location is way too high. There's too much life out there. I mean, my wife, she's from India. She wants to be able to live 6 months
in India?
Yeah, in India.
Bro, you're moving to India, dude?
Well, in the future.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love it, dude.
You got to build it up. So we're, strategizing, like, all right, going through things. And I always think it's always good to, like, hear different, points of view. Yeah. And how to do that.
Matter of fact, I'm going to reference something, because I just got the great memory. You and your wife, if I'm not mistaken, you told me one time you guys are fix and flippers.
Yeah, we dabbled.
And fix and flipping.
It's been a learning experience. I'm going to call it a learning experience.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
But did you guys successfully do the first fix and flip or no?
I would say success is we didn't owe a bunch of money. We made $5,000 on it.
Okay. So here's my point. He bought a property. He bought it low, or what he thought was low, enough. He put money into it only to go back on the market and resell it.
Yep.
He didn't make a bunch of money, but don't get me wrong, the skill set that you took away from that is huge.
Yeah.
So to me, even if you only made, $1,000, the amount of knowledge you took from that is great.
Yeah.
But let's just use the flip side of that. So that wasn't the sexiest thing, right? It wasn't sexy that you didn't make a whole bunch of money, but that's okay. But let me ask you something. Are you more confident if you're going to do the next one?
Yeah, we did do another one.
Okay.
And we ran into some learning experience, as I said. Like contractor work wasn't on point. But it did give us the confidence, like, all right, well, let's jump right back in and not just like walk away from it. So we are trying the next one. It's been sitting for a long time because we just didn't have good marketing on it. We had incomplete work. We didn't invest in staging. So now we had to do the whole take it back off, list it with one of my better referral partners.
Gotcha. Okay.
Who's taking care of it now. And now it's
Perfect.
like, all right, well, still probably going to break even again on it. But now we've learned so much more that if we did go to do it again, we know how to underwrite the deal better.
Perfect.
And be like, let's just stay away from this, but do it this way.
So here's the reality. This is where I was wanting to get to on my point. My point is you actually got your hands dirty. You got into the game. You learned by doing.
Yep.
Because I think one thing that you guys can take away from this is action. Money loves speed. Okay. Now, even though that he didn't make a bunch of money, You guys didn't realize he got paid in other ways, which is knowledge.
Yes.
He got paid with confidence. He got paid with relationships. Because guess what? Let's face reality of that situation. Yeah, you didn't make a bunch of money, but you now got more contractors in your Rolodex.
Yep.
You got maybe a wholesaler in your Rolodex. You got better maybe lenders in your Rolodex, hard money lenders.
Yeah.
Which obviously you're in that field, but still you might have learned someone new. It could be other potential partners that can handle the construction process and obviously put capital in the deal. You got paid in many other ways.
Yeah.
So even if we sit here and say, hell, I didn't make a whole bunch of money and I only made $1,000 to $3,000. What really does a lot of things, and people don't realize this, is action. He took actionable steps to curate a property, to turn it into a fix and flip, to a finished product, to put it on the market. You took action. You got knowledge.
Yep.
But the flip side of that here is, even if let's say you made $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, what happens? You have to pay Uncle Sam, right?
You got to pay Uncle Sam.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So, and then you got to say, okay, you know what? Hey, honey, this was a very successful flip. We made a lot of money, 30, 40, whatever a lot of money is to you. Me personally, I don't want to touch a flip unless I'm making $100,000. Not worth it.
Yeah.
I can go wholesale a property, make 20, 30, 40K versus put all that risk out there. You know? Someone like you might be a little bit different. That's fine. That's totally fine. So identifying exactly what the dollar amount for you that makes sense for you to do all this work.
Yeah.
But my point is he's dating the money. He's not married to the money.
Right.
That money comes and goes.
Yeah. It's
not that mailbox money.
Money's seeing other people.
Right.
You know?
So one of the things I always wanted to solve, and my point goes back to be intentional and being crystal clear on what you want to do. If you're crystal clear on whatever your exit strategy is in real estate or how you want to acquire real estate, you can actually scale a lot faster. It's kind of like I was just talking to Gabe.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm building, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Hey, why don't you develop, Javier? I don't want to develop. It's not my forte.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit my business model. Okay, clear. It's out of sight.
Yep.
Right? I'm not focused on that. But I'm really intentional about the things I am focused on. And so that's where a lot of people mess up, is they're so scatterbrained everywhere.
Yeah.
And they don't know what they want to do. But right now, you might be thinking in your head right now, like, hey, Javier, you know what? One thing I didn't say is, yeah, we were more successful in the second flip, but we've now analyzed it where fix and flip doesn't want to be our exit strategy anymore. And that could be a possibility.
Yep.
Because now you've gone through the motions. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's the main thing too, is that like there is a lot of value to it, because especially like you mentioned, like we do hard money here. So I've gone from just talking about it and be like, oh, we have this product, I can do that, to now I have the experience.
Correct. Oh yeah, I like that.
People about too.
Yep, that's true.
I have experience, like I know how it works from the inside.
I like that.
I've done it twice now. I've taken in, like, now I can tell you more about it. How's the draw process with this lender? How does this feel? You know, what's it like? You know, what are your payment schedules like? Even?
So I love that. I love that you said that, because actually one thing I usually always say is, one of the other things that made me become a real estate investor early on, when I became a licensee in 2015.
Yeah.
I didn't feel good not owning real estate, but selling real estate.
Yeah.
Why are you selling a product that you don't even own? Like, have you ever talked to a sales guy and they're trying to sell you something, they don't even own it? Doesn't that make you feel like they don't believe in the product?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, you're trying to sell me a Kirby vacuum, you don't even own a Kirby vacuum.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a turnoff. But the point here is, he can now sell the product better. Now that you've gone through the motions, you can actually sell the product better when you do have a client, and that could be a niche of yours. Hey, we offer hard money. Yeah.
And one of the cool things too is it's telling people, especially like in the Florida market, why sometimes the value is why it doesn't work. Don't do this deal. This one doesn't make sense. You think you're going to make this, but you're not factoring in these things. You're not factoring in the property sitting. You haven't experienced that. I have, so let me tell you about this. Or let me tell you, your purchase price is not low enough. You know, you think your rehab's here, it's not low enough. You know,
do you have a contingency budget in there? Are you buying at 40, 50 cents, 60 cents max on the dollar in this neighborhood? Because if you're buying anything above 50 cents on the dollar, you could be in a bad position. Especially right now. Right now, it's like
exactly
the market's funny right now.
Because Florida took the longest to adjust downwards.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we going back to what we talked about at the beginning. Your price, when you aggressively price,
bro,
that's when you sell.
Yep.
And when people are saying, "Oh, I think I can get this ARV after repair value," and it turns out that you can't get that value because the market isn't really there. You got oversold by, you know, your wholesaler or something like that, or someone said, "Oh, yeah, no, it'll be worth this."
Yeah.
You got to learn to do your own research.
Yeah.
Personally, my wife does the research. She loves the numbers, so we're good there.
That's the Indian in her.
That's the
Indian in her. But the real key is, if you're going to do any type of real estate investing, I would say for you guys, for a takeaway, is know your market.
Yes.
Know your market. Mm-hmm. Most people don't know their market.
Yeah.
And they think because they see something that's 50 cents on the dollar in St. Pete, Florida, they're like, "Oh my God, this is a great deal." But they don't know the market.
It might not be a good deal.
It might not be a good deal.
It'd be terrible there.
Know the neighborhood, know the market, know the zip code, understand how houses are moving there, understand what type of finished product you need to deliver to the market.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that as well as a fix and flipper.
Yeah, you can't put the same materials in
These are all variables that you have to consider, and people don't put that into consideration.
Yep. No, that's exactly right. Yeah. All these things kind of add in, and then it can really throw it off, and then you get yourself underwater, having to hold it. Yep. I mean, a couple of my team members have helped people get out of their hard money that was about to balloon.
Yep.
You're like, "All right, let's get you into a rental now. You're going to want to rent. Get it out for a year, wait for the market to adjust, and now you can make your money on it."
Yep.
You know, because you can't have this big balloon. It's going to wreck your finances.
Yep.
On it.
And you don't want to be the, recently, I was actually following a house that was on the market for like a year. I've just been following it. I've always liked it. I've always thought about buying it, but I was like, I just haven't pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Recently, I noticed a $150,000 price drop, among many other price drops, by the way.
Yeah.
No one's buying this house, right? First word I see in the description on Zillow: short sale. Guess what? It was a fix and flip. I know for sure it was a fix and flip.
Okay.
Because I saw the house in the condition it was before.
Yeah.
Then it was on the market after that. It took him about a year to flip it. Then after he did that, it's on the market again for about another year. He's probably been holding this thing for like 2 to 2.5 years at minimum. Whew. Guess what? Now he's short selling. So he probably really owes like $800, and he's short selling it for that $750. If it's approved by the bank, by the way.
Right.
Most of these realtors, it's not even bank approved, short sale approved. You'll start seeing that a lot too.
Yeah.
It's just a number they're throwing out there, hoping and praying that the BPO and it gets approved.
Yeah, it just sticks.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be in that position. So make sure you know your market.
I have a question for you. I know you said you've done like a lot of sub 2 deals.
Yeah.
Is there a period of time that you should be holding those in the condition they're in? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but basically the gist of a sub 2 deal is usually the person you're buying it from will put it into a trust, and then you buy the trust. Is that the way it goes, or is there a different way to go about it?
There's a couple ways you can acquire the property. So I'm going to repeat what a sub 2 deal is so people understand. A subject 2 deal is, there's 2 reasons why somebody would sell the property via subject 2. Okay. One is they're in arrears, meaning they haven't made their mortgage payment in months and months. Yeah. 2, they've listed a realtor, but they don't have enough equity to price the property aggressive enough on the market to be able to sell. Okay. Typically, when we buy these properties, they're either they're pretty much, they're always no equity. No equity in the property. My strategy is to hold them for 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
When I acquire the property, I buy it in a land trust. My trustee is the attorney who closes the deal. Okay. I'm the beneficiary on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Florida is one of the best, by the way, let me actually repeat that. My attorney is the trustee.
Yeah.
I'm the beneficiary. My entity, when I say I'm the beneficiary, my entity is the beneficiary.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
That makes sense? Hey, how you doing? I'm going to give you a, so my beneficiary is the LLC.
Yeah.
So you have the trustee, then you have the beneficiary, which is my LLC, right? One of my other LLCs owns that LLC as well. So I have this whole entire corporate structure.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can buy the property multiple ways. You can buy it in a trust, or some people just buy them in an LLC. Now, there's this whole entire confusion. People think like, oh, if I buy it in a trust, the due on sale clause won't get called. If I buy it in an LLC, the due on sale, there's this whole, it's all bullshit. Like, there is no such thing of the due on sale clause not getting called.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, typically, if a note is being serviced, there's no reason for the bank to call.
They're getting their money.
Let's be real. The banks really care to get paid. Let's all be real here, right? They care about get paid. They don't want to put the resources in place to be able to track to see if deed is transferred. And there is a law that's been put in place. And the reason why people say that, if you go into a land trust versus an LLC, you're less likely to get called due on sale. The reason why is because when you own a property, the bank will actually allow you to put your property into a trust for asset protection. I forget what the law is called. Is it Dodd-Frank or is it
Dodd-Frank?
The Dodd-Frank is that the act that they came out with?
Dodd-Frank Act
Allows you to put it in there for estate planning purposes. So what happens is when people say, oh, it prevents the due on sale, when they see a trust, is because they look at it and they think, oh, well, if the bank sees it, it's for estate planning purposes, which you're allowed to take your property, even your primary residence, and put it into a trust, right? For estate planning purposes. There's actually an act. I think that's the name of the act. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. So
we'll bet that.
It's the estate planning purposes is why people are like, oh, well, this is not going to get called, but it can still get called, right? But there's multiple reasons. It could be the way you recorded the insurance, because what happens is you're swapping the insurance policy. Bob owns that property. I bought sub 2. He's got a primary residence policy on it. We need to switch it to a landlord policy. So how are you recording that policy, right?
Yeah.
Is the proper additional insured on there? Is the original seller, is their name on the policy? Stuff like that. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can buy it in an LLC or you can buy it in a land trust. Me personally, when I first started out, I was buying everything in a land trust, in an LLC.
Okay.
But now I do everything into a land trust. And the reason why, because when you combine an LLC and you combine a land trust together, they're super powerful. You get like maximum benefits to those entities. Right? So one thing I do now is I have the land trust, which is my attorney is the trustee. My LLC is the beneficiary. And then my LLC, another LLC, which is my holdings company, owns that LLC that's the beneficiary of the trust. So I have this whole entire corporate structure. And what that does is that creates anonymity. Okay. That also creates also asset protection. And there's also other benefits to it. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty because I'm not a trust attorney. But what I would say is we're in one of the states where a land trust, if you use it in the right way in the state of Florida, it's a very powerful tool. We're in one of those states. Now, land trust isn't recognized in all states like it is in Florida. It's recognized here, and you can use it in a way where it's super, super powerful. So I hope that answers your question.
No, that's great. Because that was an excellent breakdown of like all the details. I feel like there's a lot of like confusion out there, and like so it's good to hear that. And now, when you said that you hold it for 5 to 7 years is your game plan, are you looking to like sell it or like take and refinance it into just your LLC's name at that point, or what's
so typically with my properties, I want to set myself up to. I'm a marry my money guy, like I always say. If I can set myself up to have 2 exits, whether that's a refi, pull out equity, or sell. If I can have the best of both worlds, that's beautiful. But the reason why I say 5 to 7 years is because when I evaluate these assets, I evaluate them and I look at them as a hold for 5 to 7 years, and they're worth a certain value at that time. And typically what I want to do is I want to either 1031 exchange into something else so I don't get hit with those capital gains. Or I want to cash out refinance and be able to take out that equity 100% tax free. But again, I don't know what the market's going to be doing in 5 to 7 years. So I'm banking on the market doing very well. I'm banking on money being cheap for me to do a cash out refinance. But ideally it's a 5 to 7 year hold. And really my initial underwrite is a sale on year 5 or 7. Okay. And then it could be a refinance as well.
Cool. No, I was curious because I get asked this a couple of times, even like, somebody who I don't get to take part in like the creative financing, but I have clients like, hey, I'm interested in this. Like, what happens? I had one of my key investors like, well, what happens? How do I take it over? Do people pay cash? You know, because they're very much a hold person. You know.
So great question. So what happens is there's multiple ways to navigate if a due on sale gets called, by the way. What happens is the bank will send you a letter saying the note is due, and typically they give you a 30-day time frame, right?
Yeah.
So you can either sell it, refinance it, or whatever you got to do. What we do is if it gets called, again, it's about having the right tool in your tool belt. What we'll do is we'll revert the property, deed it back into the original seller's name.
Okay.
To get in compliance with the bank. Show them proof that's done. That will now alleviate the due on sale.
Okay.
But simultaneously, what we're doing is we're doing what's called a contract for deed. So think of like a contract for deed structure to where, you know, when you buy a car and you finance it?
Yeah.
Who owns the title?
The bank does.
The bank does, right? Well, in real estate, it's different. When you get financing through a bank to buy a piece of real estate, who owns the property?
You're on the deed.
You're on the deed. And the deed is the ownership of the property. So in real estate, it's actually the opposite of buying a car. When you finance a car, the bank owns the car until you satisfy the note, right? When you buy a piece of real estate, you own the piece of real estate. The bank is secured by a mortgage and a note with a first lien position on that. Right? That's how they secure themselves.
Yes.
Well, what we'll do is we'll take that one instrument, which is a deed, and we'll revert it back to the seller. And simultaneously, we do what's called a contract for deed. And that contract for deed is structured just like a car, where yes, it's in the seller's name. That deed goes back into the seller's name. It reverts back to the seller, but I still have 100% ownership benefits to the property. I control it. I have 100% ownership benefits. Everything I have in control, right? Now, that's if due on sale gets called, which is very, very, very rare. Very, very rare. Like very rare. I know a guy who's got about 300 sub-twos. He's only had it called 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
He's actually going through one right now, actually, as we speak. So there's tools that we have out there to navigate these scenarios, and you don't have to worry about if it does get called. Just use the right tool.
Yeah.
You could satisfy the lender without having to sell the property or refinance the property. That's all the lender cares about.
That's all they care.
And they give you time. They give you time. They're like, hey, just put it back to where it needs to be.
Right.
We saw that it's moved.
Put it back in position.
And so that's why a lot of people do the trust situation, because a lot of times when a lender sees a trust, they say, oh, okay, well, we see the deed is owned by a trust. Oh, this must be for estate planning purposes. So that to them, in their eyes, they're like, oh, well, this is not going to trigger anything. Well, that's not true. That is not true at all. It still can trigger it. Because remember, a lender has the ability to be able to reach out to the trustee of that trust. And typically that should be the seller.
Should be.
But a lot of times, sometimes, and some people don't know this, a trustee to a trust is not necessarily always the owner. It could be a third party. The real owner, the person who's controlling that piece of real estate, is the beneficiary, right?
Yeah.
But the bank has the ability to be able to ask for trust documents. Hey, how's this trust set up? Send us the documents.
Yep.
So when they get those documents, they're now reviewing them to seeing how the structure of the trust is. And then that's where they get you. Because then they see, okay, well, that original seller is nowhere to be found, and they assign their beneficial interests to the new trustee, and they're not the beneficiary on the trust anymore.
Gotcha.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what happens is if they dig deeper,
they'll find it.
Now they might look at it and say, okay, well, this is estate planning purposes, but if they dig deeper, they can end up finding it.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't matter what structure you do, they both hold risk.
Yep.
But let's be real. If you have the right tool in your tool belt, that risk is very minimum. And if you're in a position, let's say it does get called 5, 6, 7 years from now, you might be in a position where, you're like, hell, I'll sell it.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I'll refinance it.
Yeah.
Right? But obviously if that happened in the beginning of the acquisition, that could be a problem. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do it in the right order, use the right tools.
Yeah.
And that's how things work out a little bit smoother.
Yeah. And you saw Gabe, he was picking my brain, right?
Yeah.
Man, it's going to cost you, man. These relationships didn't come overnight.
Right.
And it's because I've been doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've developed relationships.
Yeah.
I've developed other people who are doing this stuff at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
How are they structuring things? What are the best practices?
Mm-hmm.
I know a couple guys who own 40, 50 of these, and they own them all in LLCs. I own a bunch in LLCs too.
Yeah.
But now that I know the combination of when you join an LLC and a land trust together in Florida, you get it's very powerful, right?
Yeah.
So right now, if I'm acquiring something in Florida, it's always going to be in a land trust. If I'm acquiring something in other states, I need to understand what those local laws are.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what those local laws are, I might not do a land trust.
Mm.
And a lot of places don't recognize land trust, by the way.
So you better just go LLC?
Correct. So I just go LLC.
Yep.
And that LLC typically will own one property. So if someone sues the LLC, it's only one property.
That's just one. There you go. That's very smart. I appreciate you coming in and talking and dropping all this knowledge. Now, do you generally drop knowledge like this on your YouTube channel or Instagram?
100%, brother.
Yeah.
I got a great following now on my YouTube channel, I got to say. I've been building my channel for now the last just over about a year and a half.
Good.
And man, I got to tell you, we're uploading one long form video every single week. That's 4 videos a month.
Nice.
Long form, and we do short form on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to follow me on YouTube, which I have everything that I talk about today, all my exit strategies, the deals that I'm buying, what seller finance is, what sub 2 is. I have every single little detail on my YouTube deal. I even do whiteboard breakdowns.
Ooh,
so this is stuff like you guys don't want to miss.
Yeah.
This is like free knowledge, okay? Now, you would find me there at The Real Javier Paredes. The Real Javier Paredes, if anybody ever wants to find me.
Yeah, you guys need to follow, check it out, get all the information. It's there for free. Now, in the Central Florida area, you do meetups too, right?
I sure do.
Yeah.
So I host them once a month. The last Thursday of every single month, we host a real estate meetup. It's 100% for free. We get investors that come in that are either looking to buy real estate. We get people that are PMLs, private money lenders, that want to lend money.
Mm-hmm.
We get transaction coordinators that are not your traditional transaction coordinators. These are people who can walk you through the process of creative finance transaction coordinator. Because if you talk to a regular traditional real estate transaction coordinator, this stuff is Chinese to them. So having that right team and assembling your team at these meetups are essential.
Mm-hmm.
So we have all walks of life, all types of people that come in that are in the real estate industry, and they come once a month. So it's a mixture of a crowd, and you can actually come and get value at any time. So we do it last Thursday every single month. If you want to be a part of that, you can go to my Instagram, which is The Real Javier Paredes, and DM me the word meetup, and I'll send you the link to sign up.
Perfect. That's great. Well, I appreciate taking some time to chat.
My brother.
Grab the knowledge.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Of course.
Seriously.
It's a pleasure.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I was hoping you guys would be having